Okay. Now, if the drop is only 3 millimeters, does that mean that the volume would be 3/4 as much? Well, no, because we're cubing the radius. Okay, so if the diameter is 3 millimeters, then that's 3/4 of this diameter, which means the radius would be 3/4 as much. So when we put the radius in here, we're going to get 3/4 as much as we got here. We're cubing the radius, so the radius would change by a factor not of 3/4. We wouldn't get 3/4 the volume. We would get 3/4 cubed times the volume. Now 3/4 cubed, you should be able to do that in your head. 3/4 cubed is 27/64. And when you look at that fraction, hopefully you see that, well, if it was 32/64, it'd be half as great. Okay? But that's somewhat less than 32/64. Half as great would be 16.5 cubic millimeters. So we're going to estimate maybe that's 14 cubic millimeters. And actually, we could easily multiply 27/64 by 32, couldn't we? Because 32 is half of 64. And we could get a result there, and we'd be just a little bit low with that. So one way or another, 14 cubic millimeters, and I wrote an M and not a MM. Don't have room to write that second M, but I'll slop something in there. 14 millimeters cubed. Similarly, if the diameter was 5 millimeters, that'd be a pretty big raindrop. But if the diameter is 5 millimeters, then we'd have 5/4 of the diameter, which means we'd have 5/4 of the radius, which means we'd be cubing 5/4 as big a number as we did here. Well, if we cube 5/4, we get 125/64, and that's really close to 2, because 2 times 60 is 120, 2 times 4 is 8, so doubling 64, we get 128, where we have 125 here. That's close to double, so we're going to say that volume's pretty much got to be about 66 cubic millimeters. If we want to be more accurate, we get 65, but I'm just going to stick with the 66 because, again, we have plenty of uncertainty in our estimates of the diameter. Okay, so I'm going to call that 66. Using similar reasoning, we can figure that a 2 millimeter diameter would give us about a 4 cubic millimeter volume, and a 1 millimeter would give us about, millimeter diameter gives about a 1 millimeter cube sphere volume. Cutting each of these in half, these then would be the volumes of our raindrops.